Hey guys, day 25 video. I know it looks a lot like day 23, 4, but hey, what can I say? The internet's crappy and I can't get anything uploaded, so if I got a bulk upload, I might as well do a bunch of videos at one time too. Alright, since I'm done yawning, I told you back in day 23 that the experience of the food here has been anything but, fantastic. And it's been quite lackluster for the last probably about a week now. But tonight changed that a little bit. So there's this local Italian pizza joint right next to Chili's and right across from Domino's and Papa John's. So I was like, well, what the hell, right? A couple nights I've seen it, it's been pretty busy. So I was like, I'm going to stop in there just because I want something, but I really didn't want Indian food, but I didn't want Papa John's. So I was like, well, if I try this other pizza joint, maybe it'll be different. And honestly, it's probably it's on my top to-do place here weekly now, next to Chili's for my Jack Daniels. It's a very authentic Italian recipe pizza place. All the pizza's done on a real thin crust, fresh mozzarella. They offer a few like Indian taste versions where they've added chili flakes, chili powder, jalapenos, but a lot of the pizzas looked very, like I said, very authentic when it comes to the ingredients. Roma tomatoes and red onion, pepperoni for an American version, which I really wanted to try, but at the same token, I wasn't really in the mood for that, so I went with this local version, and I'll be damned if I can remember the name all of a sudden, but really good. It was a very almost sweet tasting pizza. Real light crust, or real light tomato pizza sauce, fresh mozzarella, olive oil, red onion, and then another item, and I can't remember off the top of my head, but gave it this really, like I said, sweet flavor to it, and paired that with the couple glasses of a local white wine, Sauvignon Blanc, or however the hell you say it, and the wine was actually really good compared to the typical white wines that I drink back home, where they have, some of them have a really, really deep oil taste to it. This was just a real crisp white wine, so I was actually really impressed with the wine. I ended up having 2 glasses, and it was actually more than a damn pizza. Go figure. But the dinner, just everything put together, was phenomenal tonight, and like I said, I think it's my new favorite spot here, and I'm gonna hit them up again next week. I'm not gonna go below $40 a night in dinner every night, but definitely once a week. It'll be a nice spot to stop, have a glass of wine, have a pizza. It was actually one of the few places too that I've actually eaten where I felt completely full walking up the table, because they actually give you, a full-size pizza, where most places here, granted, you get away, $4 or $5 for a full meal, but it's such small portions that you're like, okay, well, I'm still kind of hungry, but I'm not really. I guess I'll survive, and you just kind of take off and deal with it. It was a nice place to eat, so I'm gonna try that out again next week and try a different one of their local favorite pizzas and see what happens. Ran into a guy from headquarters today as well. Well, technically HR. He's traveling here doing some swaps, and apparently he's been in the country for a couple weeks now too, and he's leaving this weekend and may or may not be back. But it was kind of interesting to hear his take on the whole area as well. He had the kind of the same feelings I did about some of the food and some of the locations. I mean, it's kind of hard sometimes getting around here if you don't know where exactly you're at, and he had problems getting to the building. It was his first trip over to our head office here in Mumbai, and he said that no one at the hotel knew where the hell the place was at. He had a problem getting a taxi here, so I don't feel so bad being my first trip here at all. But also another thing I did, speaking of new foods, I ran over to our city mall last night for dinner, and two things actually. One, I found a place I can actually get waffles, and it's a cart in the mall that they do Belgian waffles. Phenomenal. I mean, of course, when you haven't had a good Belgian waffle in about 4 weeks, any Belgian waffle is a good waffle, but that was actually, I was really shocked that the guy had a little just waffle stand sitting in the mall making waffles in the middle of the night. So had that, and then also for dinner I had a they call it it's a Dunkin' Donuts sandwich. So Dunkin' Donuts makes bagel sandwiches, and it was, the best way to describe it was almost like a pulled pork, but it was more of a, they don't have pork, so they use lamb. So it was like a pulled lamb and like a tomato salsa type dressing. Really interesting. I'll look up Dunkin' Donuts India, pull up their menu. It's like called the Jumpin' Jack or something like that, and I mean, it was a good sandwich. But we really gotta, talk to these guys about what a large coffee is, because I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a frozen coffee. I'll get a large, and they gave me essentially a shot glass. Like it reminds me of the pops you get with McDonald's Happy Meal back in the U.S. And that's a large coffee here, and I don't understand how these people survive without coffee, because as much as they drink it, they drink so little cups of it, like it's not even enough to make it worth drinking. You might as well make the whole pot and just put a straw in it, dude, because y'all ain't getting coffee. But really interesting. Another quick tidbit about India culture, or just kind of the respect that they seem to have for each other here, is that it rained like almost all afternoon. So started this morning, stopped for about an hour, picked back up, stopped for an hour, then about 4 o'clock picked up and just kept going. And tons of puddles, because the roads here aren't taken care of. And if you've been watching my other videos, recently I made mention about how I think that the country's kind of messed up with the way when it comes to this build, expand, and not take care of anything. And the roads are no different here. So they put these nice like cobblestone roads in, and they've got these really nice sidewalks, and then all of a sudden you could tell where they started to deteriorate, and they don't go back to fix it, because huge potholes and spots, cobblestone just completely tore up and destroyed, and you'll just find all these puddles. And shockingly enough, I'm surprised that nobody here, with the amount of drivers on the road and the amount of people that look at me funny sometimes when I'm walking, that nobody decided to hit one of those puddles doing about 20 and clip me with a whole pile of water. So I walked a good mile round trip tonight to get dinner and back, and cars made it a purpose to make sure they drove well enough around me, missed the puddles, or drive slow enough through them that they wouldn't actually splash me walking through. And I'm shocked, because to be honest, if this was the U.S., and I'll admit to it, and my younger days, I won't say how younger, but anyhow, if I saw somebody walk in, complete foreigner, rainy day, kind of one of those guys that I might have pulled an asshole move and seen if I could splash them, or splash a puddle without going at the person, just to give them an idea, hey, I could have hit you. But they don't do it here, so I have to respect them for that. It was kind of different, because I'm sure, like I said, in the U.S., somebody would have just buried me in water. So there you have it. As much as I read the paper here, and it talks about these murders and rapes and killings and these beatings and all this random crap about how the people here are so bad, like at least here in Hawaii, people they're trying to survive here. So, and it's a common theme. If you watch more of my videos, I say that again. Just people here, just this general respect of doing what the hell they got to do, not messing with you, not messing. You You don't mess with them, they don't mess with you, and everybody goes along with their lives because everybody's got stuff to do. Everybody's just trying to survive here. But outside of that, the weekend's coming up. Next week, some big holiday, so I don't know if I'm going to do any of their festivities or go out and see what it's all about here, but we'll see when coming videos. Other than that, tomorrow's video will be up, and we'll be back. So day 25, again, I'm closing in on that 30-day mark. I've almost finished a complete month here, so I've got some other news coming up. We'll see. It'll be a while before I can probably announce it. We'll see what happens, and I'll let you know. But outside of that, subscribe to the channel, like the Facebook page, share the video, and I'll keep you informed on how things go down here in Mumbai. Outside of that, y'all have a good night. Bye.